protocol buffers are actually, they're two separate things that are kind of closely related, but it's important to have a little bit of airspace between them. The first thing they are is they're a little language for writing schemas for your data. And the second thing is that it's also a binary format to serialize the data. And those two things are closely related, but they're not quite the same. Ultimately, they're a tool to make programmers more efficient.
So if they're, I guess, if we're looking at them as a tool to make programmers more efficient, was that the only reason they were created? Was just that efficiency?
I think no, but I think certainly like today, that's the most compelling thing about them. So if you imagine, we're mostly Go programmers, and Go has really found a home in like building network services and building microservices. So I imagine that a lot of Go programmers have written a REST API, or at least like written some structs to serialize data to JSON. And so the way you do that in Go is you're writing your REST API, and typically you'll write a Go struct for each request and response shape. And you'll add some struct tags to tell the standard lib how to transform your struct into this like text wire format. And that's fine. It's really nice. It's pretty ergonomic. The problem is that if you have an API, you probably have clients. And they might be in TypeScript in a web browser. They might be in Kotlin or Swift on mobile clients. Maybe there's some Python client on your backend. And all those clients end up rewriting that exact same Go struct for the request and the response in their language of choice. And so you end up with the exact same data and the same schema for that data rewritten by hand in Go, in TypeScript, in Kotlin, in Python, in C++, all over the place. It's a bunch of toil for not much purpose. It's really error prone, and it's hard to reason about. You have to manually look at this special part of your code that's exposed to callers. And with every change, you have to sit and you have to think, okay, how is this going to affect my clients? Like, can I rename this field? Can I change it from being required to being optional? Can I change it from being optional to being required? Google was running into this in the early 2000s. At the time, XML was really in vogue, and they were looking for something that was simpler, that was more productive for programmers, and like as an important concern for Google, but maybe not so much for the rest of us, something that was more efficient for computers. And so they invented protocol buffers.